So uh, there is this very specific, almost tactile feeling you get when you buy a massive AAA video game these days.
Yeah, it's a whole ritual, really.
It is. You tear off the plastic, or, well, I mean, let's be real. In 2026, it's much more likely you're just sitting on your couch watching a digital download bar tick up slowly.
Right, the anticipation phase, you've got your snacks ready, you've dimmed the lights.
Exactly. You sit there with this immense anticipation. You have your controller, you've cleared your schedule for the evening, and you are just ready to play the game.
Because you have a singular expectation in your head when you buy a game.
Right. You buy a title and it has a specific name on the box, like WWE 2K26, and you expect a singular experience.
You expect to be directed down a hallway, told where to go, shown what to do, and given a clear win condition. That is how games usually work.
Exactly. But then the main menu loads, and suddenly the script completely flips. You aren't just looking at a simple start game button.
No, you're looking at a grid.
A massive, sprawling grid of options that seem to be asking you a fundamental, almost existential question about who you are and what you actually want to do with your life for the next 3 hours.
It's not just play, it's choose your existence.
It is genuinely overwhelming. I was looking through the breakdown of this year's game. The developer notes, the feature lists the mechanic deep dives, and it struck me. This isn't one game.
It's 4.
It's 4.
That is a very accurate way to frame it. It is 4 distinct pieces of software packaged inside one trench coat.
And the moment you boot it up, you have to make a choice that dictates everything that follows. I mean, do you want to be an actor starring in a movie? Do you want to be a general managing a war?
Or God controlling the universe.
Right. Or do you want to be a collector organizing a binder of rare items?
And that distinction is vital. It's not just about flavor or aesthetics either.
Why is that? Why can't we just say, I'm playing the wrestling game?
Well, the sources indicate that the developers have built specific psychological loops for different types of players. If you go into the wrong mode expecting the wrong psychological loop, you're going to bounce off the game immediately.
You'll think it's bad.
Exactly. You'll think it's bad when in reality you're just in the wrong room. You're trying to order a steak at a vegan bakery.
So that is our mission for this deep dive today. We are going to unpack these 4 worlds of WWE 2K26.
We have the developer notes, we have the breakdown of the new mechanics.
But we're going to figure out exactly which player profile fits you. We want to save you time and frustration so you don't spend 4 hours in a spreadsheet when you really just wanted to punch someone.
We have a lot of ground to cover. We're looking at MyRISE, MyGM Universe Mode, and MyFACTIon.
Each one has a different goal, a different mechanic, and a completely different feel.
Completely different.
Okay, let's dive right in. The first pillar, the actor profile. This is MyRISE.
MyRISE. This is the mode for the player who wants a beginning, a middle, and an end.
The sources describe this as the cinematic career mode. Now, when I hear career mode in sports games, I usually think of grinding out stats on a calendar.
Yeah.
But this feels different.
It is different. If you look at the documentation, they're very specific about the intent here. This isn't just about fighting.
It's about role-playing.
It is an RPG. It's closer to something like Mass Effect or Baldur's Gate than it is to a fighting game in terms of structure. You are inhabiting a character.
Like a bold comparison, but I see it.
Yeah.
And this year, the theme is something I think we can all relate to. It's titled The Comeback.
The Comeback. It's a classic narrative structure, but it's incredibly effective because it taps into a very primal desire.
Set the scene for us. Who are we playing as? Because in previous years, sometimes you were a rookie, sometimes you were an indie darling trying to make it to the big leagues. What's the setup here?
You take on the role of a character referred to as the archetype.
The archetype. That sounds ominous. Sounds like a superhero villain.
It does, doesn't it? The backstory here is that you were a once promising talent. You weren't just a nobody. You were on the trajectory to the top.
You were the next big thing.
You were on the posters.
Yeah.
But then there is an inciting incident.
The crash.
Exactly. A crushing setback caused by a dominant rival. The sources don't spoil exactly what that setback is. Maybe an injury, maybe a public humiliation, maybe a betrayal.
But the theme is clear. You have fallen from grace. You hit rock bottom.
So you start with a chip on your shoulder. The entire mode is about scratching and clawing your way back to redemption. It's about reclaiming what was stolen from you.
I love that. It's not just, I'm a rookie trying to get hired. It's, I used to be someone and I lost it. That adds a layer of desperation to the story.
It gives you motivation instantly. You aren't fighting for money, you're fighting for your name.
It raises the stakes immediately. But what is really fascinating this year, according to the source material, is a major structural change they've implemented regarding the roster and the story paths.
Right. The split.
Yes, the fork in the road, as we might call it.
In previous iterations of these games, you often had a singular narrative that was just slightly tweaked depending on your character. Maybe a pronoun change here or there, or a slightly different cutscene, but the beats were identical.
But this year,
This year, the sources emphasized distinct storylines for the men's division and the women's division.
and to be clear, for everyone listening, this isn't just a skin swap, right? We aren't just seeing the same cutscenes with different character models.
No, and that's a crucial distinction. The analysis indicates that these are completely unique paths. We're talking about unique rivalries, unique allies, and unique betrayals tailored to each division.
So the men's story might be about a brotherhood betraying you, and the women's story might be about navigating a specific championship hierarchy or dealing with a different type of authority figure.
Exactly. The script is different. It effectively doubles the replay value of the mode.
If you are the type of player who plays for the story, you essentially have 2 full seasons of television to watch and play through.
You can play as a male superstar, finish the redemption arc, feel that satisfaction, and then immediately start a female superstar and get a completely new experience.
Let's talk about that playing through aspect, because you mentioned this is an RPG. I think when people hear wrestling game, they think of just button mashing.
Yeah.
They think about hitting X to punch and O to grapple.
But MyRISE seems to be leaning heavily into agency.
Agency is the key word here. The game is designed around branching paths. It's not a straight line from point A to point B.
The bus, to use your metaphor, is driven by your decisions. You aren't just a passenger watching a movie, you are the lead actor rewriting the script.
How do those decisions actually manifest? Are we just picking yes or no on a menu?
It's more integrated than that. The sources highlight a few specific mechanics. You have backstage confrontations. Do you shake the hand or slap the hand?
Classic.
You have interactions with authority figures. Do you listen to the boss or rebel? You have promo segments where you choose what to say on the microphone.
Standard RPG stuff, but applied to wrestling.
But the one that stood out to me as very modern and very indicative of the current wrestling landscape is the social media callouts.
Oh, interesting. So you can start a feud on Twitter or, well, the in-game equivalent.
Precisely. And think about how modern wrestling and really modern conflict in general works today. A lot of the heat is built before the two people ever touch each other.
It's built on posts, on replies, on quote tweets.
And the game allows you to utilize that mechanic. You can choose to call someone out publicly or perhaps stay silent and play the mystery card.
And does that choice actually matter? Or is it just flavor text? Because sometimes games give you choices that all lead to the same match anyway.
The documentation insists these are not just flavor. These choices shift alliances. If you call someone out, you create a rivalry.
If you side with an authority figure in a backstage segment, maybe you unlock a new branch of the story where you're the corporate darling.
Right, and if you rebel, you go down an alternate path where you are the anti-hero.
So it's the butterfly effect. One tweak could change your WrestleMania opponent.
In theory, yes. And that connects to the gameplay loop itself. The sources describe this as building a character. You aren't just given a stat block.
You are customizing attribute points, skill trees, move sets. You have to decide, do I want to be a powerhouse? Do I want to be a technical specialist?
Right, and that changes how the match feels. A powerhouse plays differently than a high flyer.
It does. And it changes how you win. The notes mention that winning isn't always enough. The game blends cutscenes with match objectives.
Oh, I've seen this in previous years, but it sounds like they've doubled down on it. This is where the game tells you how to win right.
Exactly. You might be in a match where the goal isn't just pin the guy. The story might dictate that you need to hit a specific move on the announcer's table to cause a viral moment.
Or maybe you need to survive a beatdown for 5 minutes because the story is that you are completely outmatched.
Or maybe you have to lose by disqualification to advance the plot. It's trying to replicate the pacing of a scripted drama rather than a legitimate sporting contest.
Which makes sense because wrestling is scripted drama. It's not UFC. In a real fight, you just want to knock the guy out. In wrestling, you want to tell a story.
Exactly. And that's why the verdict for MyRISE is so clear. This mode is for the player who wants to be told story. They want to live inside the drama. They want the cutscenes. They want the why behind the fight.
So if you're the type of person who skips cutscenes to get to the action,
MyRISE is probably going to frustrate you. You'll feel like the game is interrupting your fighting.
but if you're the person who watches the TV show for the backstage skits and the plot twists, this is your home. You are the actor. You are playing a role.
Okay, so that's the actor. That's the storyteller. Now let's pivot. Let's say you don't care about one specific character. Let's say you don't care about feelings or redemption.
Oh.
Let's say you care about the business,
Now we are entering MyGM.
the strategy simulation. This is a massive shift in perspective.
It's a completely different genre of video game. It's jarring if you aren't expecting it. In MyRISE, the camera is zoomed in on your face. In MyGM, the camera is zoomed out to a satellite view.
You are transitioning from being the wrestler to managing the wrestler.
The sources called this the strategic battle.
And the battle here isn't physical, it's numerical. It's the ratings war.
Let's unpack the premise. You are a general manager, you have a budget, you have a rival brand. Say you're running Raw and the computer is running SmackDown.
And you have to win. You have to get more eyeballs on your show than they do on theirs.
Simple and complex in execution. I like the analogy you used earlier, fantasy football meets HR management.
It really is HR, isn't it?
It is because you are dealing with people. But let's start with the fantasy football part, the setup phase, the draft.
The draft is the most stressful part of the whole thing. You're sitting there, the clock is ticking, and you have to pick your team.
And this is where the game is won or lost. The source material has a very specific warning here. Do not panic book.
What does that mean in this context?
It refers to the resource trap. You have a limited budget. It is very tempting to look at the list of available wrestlers and see 2 or 3 absolute megastars, the legends, the icons, and you think I need them? They will get me the rating.
Right. You spend 80% of your money on 2 people. You grab the biggest name on the board and then the second biggest.
And that is the trap. Because a wrestling show has to fill time. You have 3 or 4 matches to book every week. You need an undercard. You need a midcard.
If you blow your budget on 2 stars, you are left with a roster of what we call jobbers. People who lose all the time, who can't put on a good match. Depth wins seasons.
It's like buying a Ferrari but not having money for gas. You have this beautiful car in the driveway, but you can't drive it anywhere.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You need to balance the roster. The sources emphasize specific roles you need to fill. You need faces, the good guys. You need heels, the bad guy.
You need that dynamic. If you have a roster full of bad guys, who are they fighting?
Other bad guys.
And the crowd hates that. It lowers the rating, it's confusing storytelling, but you also need to mix classes.
Classes, like in an RPG.
Similar concept. The game categorizes wrestlers into types: bruisers, fighters, giants, cruisers. And there is a rock, paper, scissors dynamic at play here. Certain classes mesh better with others in the ring.
So you can't just throw 2 giants in the ring and expect a 5-star classic.
You can try, but the simulation will likely penalize you. 2 giants fighting is slow, it's plotting. The ratings will drop because the chemistry is off.
But if you put a giant against a cruiser, now you have a story. David versus Goliath. The speed versus the power. The simulation rewards that contrast.
So you have to draft for chemistry, not just popularity. You have to think about who works well together.
Exactly. And this brings us to the HR side of the equation.
The invisible metrics.
Yes, the variable management. You aren't just looking at a wrestler's popularity. You are juggling their stamina and their morale.
Let's break those down. Stamina first.
Wrestlers get tired. It seems obvious, but in a game, we often forget this. We just want to play with our toys.
Yeah.
But if you book your top star in a grueling match every single week,
Tables match, cage match, Hell in a Cell.
their stamina bar depletes.
And what happens when it hits 0?
2 things. First, match quality drops. They put on a sluggish performance because they are exhausted. Second, and more dangerous, the injury risk spikes.
If your main event star tears a quad because you overwork them, they are out for months.
It's a disaster. Your ratings tank. You lose the war.
So you have to rest them. You have to give them a week off. But if you rest them,
Morale drop.
morale drops.
There it is. The catch-22.
That's the management nightmare. If a wrestler isn't on TV, they feel underutilized. Their morale bar goes down. If morale gets too low, they might refuse to work a match. You try to book them and they say no.
Or worse, the source mentions they can actually leave the brand. They will quit and go to your rival.
That is brutal. Imagine building your whole show around someone, investing all your money in them, and because you rested them to save their health, they get mad and join the competition.
It's workplace politics simulation. You have to play this constant game of, I need you to rest, but I also need you to be happy, but I also need you to perform.
And then, just to make it more chaotic, they add power cards.
Oh, I love the power cards. These are the game changers.
These are special abilities attached to the general manager you choose. Each GM has a unique card. They allow you to break the rules slightly.
Some boost your own ratings, like a marketing campaign, which creates artificial buzz. But the really nasty ones allow you to sabotage the rival brand.
Sabotage how?
The sources list examples like draining their stamina or blocking them from booking title matches.
Wow. So I can look at my opponent, see they have a big championship match planned for their main event, and just play a card that says nope.
Exactly. You can forbid them from defending the title. It ruins their show. The fans get mad at them, not you.
It adds a layer of competitive malice to the spreadsheet. You aren't just trying to do well, you are actively trying to make the other person fail.
It sounds incredibly deep. The sources mention long-term planning as a key differentiator. This isn't just week to week.
No, you have to think in seasons. You have to level up rivalries. A rivalry starts at level 1. It's lukewarm. You have to nurture it week by week, booking promos, booking run-ins, booking tag matches until it hits level 4.
And that's when you blow it off.
Right. You want that level 4 peak to coincide with a premium live event, a PLE. That's how you get the massive ratings spike. If you rush it and do the big match on a random Tuesday, you wasted the potential. You burned the money.
It's delayed gratification.
It is. The sources also mention sniping talent, monitoring free agent contracts. Maybe your rival star is unhappy, low morale because they haven't been booked. You can swoop in mid-season and sign them.
It really is for the spreadsheet gamer.
The verdict is clear. If you love franchise mode in Madden or NBA 2K, or if you enjoy tycoon simulators like Zoo Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon, MyGM is where you will spend hundreds of hours. It's for the person who wants to control the machine, not just be a cog.
Okay, well, what if I want control, but I don't want the stress?
Yeah.
What if I don't want a budget? What if I don't care about money? What if I don't want my wrestlers to get injured? What if I just want to be God?
And you want segment 3, universe mode.
The sandbox.
The sandbox. It is crucial to differentiate this from MyGM because on the surface they look similar. You are booking shows. You are managing rosters.
But the vibe is totally different.
MyGM is defined by limitations. Budgets. Stamina rules competition. Universe mode is defined by total freedom. It is God mode. There are no objectives unless you create them yourself. No one tells you lose.
The core promise here is total control.
You control the rosters, who is on which show. You control who holds the championships. You control the names of the shows. You control the pay-per-views.
You can play every single match yourself, or, and this is a big draw for many, you can sit back and let the AI simulate decades of history.
I know people who do this. They literally just set up the universe, press simulate, and watch what happens. It's like an ant farm.
A wrestling ant farm, exactly. But the sources highlight a historic problem with universe mode. In previous years, sandboxes could feel kind of empty.
Repetitive.
Right? Without the structure of a story or a budget, sometimes nothing really happened. The AI would just book the same match 10 times in a row because it didn't know what else to do. It felt static.
So what's changed in 2K26?
The sources emphasize new mechanics to make the sandbox live, specifically improved AI booking logic and rivalry tracking.
How does the new rivalry tracking work?
It seems to be a middle ground between the chaos of random matches and the structure of MyRISE. The game now allows players to control rivalry intensity and cutscene triggers.
Oh, so you can tell the game, I want these two guys to hate each other, and I want a cutscene where one attacks the other with a chair.
Yes. You can orchestrate the flow. Instead of hoping the game generates a cool moment, you can trigger it. You can manually set up blow-off matches at major events.
It allows you to be the head writer rather than just the observer. You can direct the action.
That's a huge difference. It makes it feel like you're actually directing the show, not just watching random number generation.
And we can't talk about universe mode without talking about the creation suite.
This is where the community really shines.
Universe mode is the home for custom content. The sources mention custom arenas, custom championships, custom shows.
And this is where the fantasy element comes in. You don't have to run a WWE simulation.
Not at all. You can run a simulation of 1990s wrestling. You can run a simulation of a Japanese promotion. Or, and this is very popular, you can create a completely fictional league.
You can download 50 custom characters that look like superheroes or monsters, build a Marvel versus DC Federation, design the belts, design the arenas, and watch them fight.
That's the beauty of it. It's the creative director role. You aren't managing money, you are managing aesthetics.
The verdict, if MyRISE is playing a movie and MyGM is running a business universe mode, is playing with action figures on your bedroom floor. You make up the rules. You decide who wins. You decide who the bad guy is. It is pure imagination.
Action figures, that is the perfect way to describe it. No budget, no morale, just make them fight because it looks cool.
Precisely. Okay, we have the actor, the general, and the god. We have one more pillar, and this one is usually the most controversial, but the sources suggest some big changes this year.
MyFACTIon.
The collector's loop.
This is the team builder mode. If you are familiar with Ultimate Team in FIFA or Madden, you know the structure. It is a card collecting mode.
You get packs, you open them, you get cards with different rarity tiers, and you build a lineup.
Correct. You have rarity tiers, class types, and special badges. The loop is play matches, earn currency, get better cards, play harder matches.
Now, historically, the criticism of these modes is the grind. It feels like a second job, or it feels like you have to pay to win.
And the sources for 2K26 explicitly mention this. They use the phrase big changes to address grind fatigue.
What's the headline feature here?
The shift toward offline versus online balance.
This is huge for me. Explain what that implies.
In the past, to get the best rewards, the top-tier cards, the ones with the best stats, you often had to play online. You had to compete against other humans.
Which is terrifying if you aren't a competitive player.
It is. It's a barrier to entry. If you just want to collect cool cards, but you don't want to get destroyed by a teenager in an online lobby, you were stuck. You couldn't progress.
The analysis shows that 2K26 has made solo grinding and AI challenges a viable path.
So I can get the cool stuff just by playing against the computer.
Yes. The sources state this opens the mode to a completely different demographic. You don't have to be a competitive esports player. You can be a completionist.
That makes it much more appealing. It becomes a cozy game, just unlocking things at your own pace.
Exactly. But they do keep the live element to keep you coming back.
Live events.
Rotating objectives. Tiered difficulties, the idea of seasons.
Which means the game changes every few weeks.
Yes. There will be structured content drops. So maybe in October there is a Halloween-themed set of challenges with spooky cards. In April, there is a WrestleMania-themed season.
It keeps the loop fresh. There is always something new to chase.
And strictly gameplay-wise, is it just whoever has the highest number wins?
The expert advice suggests otherwise. There is strategic nuance. It's not just math.
Tell me about synergy.
The source emphasizes building synergy between card classes rather than just stacking high-tier cards. It's similar to MyGM. If you have a team of all strikers, you might lack the defensive capabilities or the submission badges to handle certain challenges.
You need to build a balanced team that covers each other's weaknesses.
And there's a warning here about resources, too.
A very strict warning, do not waste resources on low-tier packs early on.
The temptation of the gamble. You have 500 coins and you want to open something now.
Efficiency beats randomness. The strategy is to save your currency. Wait for the high-value drops or the specific cards you need to complete a set. Don't just buy the cheap pack because you have coins burning a hole in your pocket.
That is life advice, honestly.
It is. So the verdict for MyFACTIon, this is for the collector and the competitor. If you have that itch to organize, to upgrade, to see a progress bar go up, and to optimize a lineup,
then this is your loop. It satisfies that RPG inventory management part of the brain.
So we have laid out the 4 worlds. Let's try to synthesize this, because I think your point at the beginning was profound. This is about intent.
It is. If we look at the psychological profile summary, if you want a story with emotional stakes, you play MyRISE. If you want strategy, stress, and management, you play MyGM.
If you want creativity and freedom, you play Universe. If you want progression and collection, you play MyFACTIon.
It's interesting, isn't it? WWE 2K26 is attempting to solve the biggest problem in modern gaming.
Which is?
That we are moody.
That's a good way to put it. One day I want to be challenged. The next day I want to relax. The next day I want to watch a movie. Usually I'd have to buy 3 different games for that.
Exactly. And that is the aha moment here. The developers have compartmentalized these experiences so strictly that you can legitimately ignore 75% of the software and still feel like you got your money's worth.
You don't have to do everything.
No. In fact, you shouldn't. If you try to play all 4 modes simultaneously, you will burn out. The game is too big. The advice is to pick your lane, find out who you are, play that mode, and ignore the rest.
Know what you want before you press start. Don't judge the fish, which is MyGM's strategy, by its ability to climb a tree, which is MyRISE storytelling.
Perfectly said. They are different animals.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a thought, a provocative thought, as we like to say.
Let's look at the trajectory of these simulations. We talked about MyGM having morale mechanics where people quit if they aren't happy. We talked about Universe Mode having AI that mimics human jealousy and rivalry.
It's getting very real.
It is. And as these simulations get better at mimicking human behavior rivalries, burnout, betrayal, workplace satisfaction, at what point does the game stop being a simulation of wrestling and start being a simulation of workplace politics?
That is Terrifyingly accurate. When you're playing MyGM, you aren't worried about the clothesline. You are worried about the contract negotiation. You are worried about the ego of your employee.
You're playing Middle Management Simulator 2K26.
Essentially. So the question for you listening is, which job do you actually want to take on when you pick up that controller? Do you want to be the athlete, the boss, the writer, or the archivist?
Choose your career path wisely.
Indeed. That's it for this deep dive into the four worlds of WWE 2K26. We hope this saves you some time and maybe some frustration when you finally boot up the game.
Enjoy the ring.
We'll catch you in the next one.